existing on their platforms. Like, how do you in Pump Fun think about the content that exists on the platform? What's allowed, what isn't, where you draw the line, why and how you host these metas?
For sure. So first and foremost, to speak to a point I mentioned earlier, I think Pump.fun is a really brutal reflection of what crypto Twitter is today. And there's a lot of it's good, but a lot of it is bad. Um, but that is a subjective point of view. A lot of people have different views about what's good and what's bad. That is not our place. Again, the market does its own thing. Whether Pump.fun is there or not is honestly a marginal difference. Ultimately, the market is going to do its own thing. So it's not only just like it's morally wrong for us to interject there. Where I think we do have some responsibility is when it becomes very, very sensitive for particular individuals.
Yeah.
I think look, this is not the first time such a question has been put out there. Ultimately, this is the question that every single social media company has to answer at some point, right? And there are many playbooks that have been drawn up, and we do take inspiration from some of those. I mean, ultimately, yeah, some of the Pump.fun metas were quite controversial, but do these metas exist in Twitter? Of course, it's the exact same thing. So does Twitter censor them? No. It's honestly that simple sometimes. But yeah, a line has to be drawn at some point, and when it comes to violence and to things that really affect individuals, I think that is a point where you need to interject. But the culture is going to do what the culture is going to do most of the time.
So I have a similar point of view on this, and it's sort of like if I had to like distill your take down, it's basically like you don't play God on what people want and don't want until maybe it passes into a dangerous line. But I mean, I just did an interview with Andrew Tate, and that was, I mean, relatively extremely controversial. And there's a lot of people that are like, how dare you platform that man? How dare you speak to him? How dare you offer him a platform? And my perspective on it was like, look, the guy's got 10 million followers. The coin's at 100, 200 mil market cap. Every tweet he posts gets a million views. Your people obviously want to hear from him. I'm going to go host him. I'm going to have the conversation with him. I'm going to hear him out on him, see his point of views. Just because he says something crazy in our interview doesn't mean that I like agree with him. Just like it doesn't mean that Pump Fun agrees and stands with every coin that launches on the platform. But it also means that just because you maybe have a different point of view, that the conversation can still exist, right? That meta can still exist, that coin can still exist. And I think I take a very similar approach in how I think about myself as an interviewer long term. The same way that Tucker Carlson just did a Putin interview, right? A lot of people that would say, "Oh, that guy's, he's a dictator. That guy's crazy. How dare you platform him?" When the other side of the equation is like the guy has attention. People are gonna see what he's going to say anyways. You don't have to agree with him to have a conversation with him. And I think you guys have a similar perspective on what is and isn't allowed on Pump Fun. And I think it's a perspective that I agree with.
100%. I think culture can never progress without new things or